and gentlemen, boys and girls, collectors of all ages, the die is cast once again by Odin's Beard. It is AussieVerse. I am OmniBeau, joined by the savage Sharif, Rob Lisle, the man known as Spedsy, and the guy in the pineapple hat tonight, Leigh Chalker. How you going, guys?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Oh,
Very well.
Single-issue Spedsy in the house, taking the title straight out of the hands of Steve. You snooze, you lizzoos.
Take that, Steve. And tonight it is What We Read February 2024. Now, on these other shows, who usually goes first? Sharif. Who usually goes last?
Don't know. Sharif is the middle guy because his always go for about 120 minutes.
No, that's the Halls. That's the Halls. But in saying that, let's go, Sharif.
Cool. A very light month for me for February. Only 2 books, which I will talk about briefly. First one is Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. I can tell you this: it's a slow burn. The first couple of issues were just introductions to, it's not even a Supergirl story at the beginning. We only get to see her, I think, midway through of issue 1, and then even then, it's her visiting this planet without her powers because it's with a red sun. Why would anyone with superpowers would want to be depowered? Because you want to get drunk. She's come of age. She's celebrating her legal age. Well, whatever the legal age the DC universe is. So she visits this planet. She gets approached by this little girl whose dad just got murdered by the savages of her land, and she wants revenge. She's too small, too young to do it, and the legend of the S emblem reaches far and wide into the universe and the galaxy. She recognizes it. So, hey, could you do this for me? And I'll give you this blade, which her father kind of unexpectedly bequeathed it to her when he died, and adventure ensues. She travel, and in order to help her, she obviously has to regain her powers. How did she travel here and there without the power of flight? Spaceship. So she goes on the ship, travels back towards a solar system with the yellow sun, slowly gets her powers back, and along the journey she interacts with different aliens, and there's a little bit of comedy there, but towards the end where she's all powered up, and she unleashes super hell.
I hear the movie is being based on this.
Yeah. That's what I heard as well. And those who have not gotten a copy of this run yet, originally I think 8 issues, single issues, and then with the softcover trade, there will be a hardcover deluxe coming out, and I think about in a few months. So if you've not get that and prefer hardcover, just wait a little bit longer and get your hands on it. Yeah. And my second read is a Black Label book, Catwoman Lonely City. As I have mentioned in the previous haul, this is the DM variant. I thought the DM variant was only for the cover art. I was pleasantly surprised when I started reading it because the dust jacket is similar to the Wonder Woman one, where inside this additional material. So you've got character designs of all the cast. It folds out.
That's cool.
I wonder if they've done that for other of those formats, and no one has realised.
Every omnibus behind you has that, but you've never thought to look at them.
Maybe only the DM ones, because I know this one has it. Wonder Woman has it. I'm not sure I've come across any DMs for all the other Black Label magazine size books yet. But back to the story, it sets about what was it, 20 years into the future, where Selena issue one. This collects 4 issues. That's the inside of the book. So it tells the story of an aged Selena Kyle, where she just got out of a 20-year prison sentence, and she's trying to reconnect with society, and she's trying to make good of Batman's last words to her. That last word is Orpheus. So what is actually Orpheus? That's part of the story where she's
What's an Orpheus?
Orpheus, not Orpheus. Orpheus.
I'm surprised Spedsy didn't go there to be quiet.
No, I thought an Orpheus was a fish whose parents died. Isn't that? And then no, it's a thinker. No, it's not even a thinker. It's a stinker, maybe actually. Look, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So
So as you grow old, your body fails you, and she tries to relive what she used to do in her younger days. So she had to adapt new skills, and this is when she showcased her detective prowess. She still has the skills of a thief, breaking into things, houses, locks, safes, all that. So it's a fairly quick read, but a really good one.
So out of how many pineapples would you give Supergirl?
What's full? What's max?
So 1 pineapple is like a really crappy one that's like really soft and you don't really want to eat it. And like a 10 pineapple is like really hard and golden and juicy and
7.
Okay. And what about Catwoman? How many pineapples?
8.5.
Just the 2, I think. Oh, right. I'm understanding. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go next because I want to. And I have been reading digital for like the last, I don't know how many few months now. I keep going on about it. But this is the last video for a while. And I'm going to be talking about digitals because I've been reading trades and hardcovers and stuff quite hardcore in the last few weeks. But that'll be for next month. So this last month, let's go over some stuff that I've read, starting with Superior Spider-Man Returns. This is the brand new Superior Spider-Man, still Doc Ock, but he is back, baby. But it is not really in the way that they kind of advertised, which was a little disappointing. But still, it's been good. It's been all right. Yeah.
How is that a thing? I thought they've.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was dying to read it, because fans of Superior Spider-Man probably want that back. Fans of maybe the end tale of Superior Spider-Man, where he puts himself into a cloned body of a mix of Peter and Otto, where he's like this super sexy, like I always pictured Otto Octavius as German ever since the 90s Spider-Man cartoon. I want that guy back. But none of that happens. You're going to have to read it to find out for yourself. It's worth reading. It's worth reading, but it's not exactly what you think.
But can you just spoil? So, like, to me, Superior Spider-Man, best Spider-Man run I think I've ever read. Loved the hell out of it. So, are we talking? Is this an alternate dimension or something?
Nope. It started with a one shot, which was the Superior Spider-Man Returns.
Is he swinging around in the 616 regular universe?
It is in the 616 regular universe.
Yes.
See how I half answered your question there?
Yeah. See, obviously the genius of the original was that he took the place of Peter Parker, and how he did things differently while keeping up the ruse of being Peter Parker, and people slowly catching on. And
that is not this.
Yeah. All right. Wow.
Is it still worth a read though?
Yeah. Look, basically, Otto. So if you're up to date with Spider-Man, Otto does not remember all of his time as the superior Spider-Man, especially the identity of Spider-Man. That's been taken from his mind. And he knows that stuff has been taken from his mind. So he goes back, retracing his steps to try to get back into the superior Spider-Man mind frame, let's just say. And because of that, he remembers some things and other stuff happens. But does he go back into the body? No. It does. Is there a superior Spider-Man swinging around at the same time as Peter Parker? Maybe. You'll have to find out for yourself. Moving on.
Okay.
No, one.
No, one tiny little annoying follow-up. One like a B story was that Dr. Octavius was annoyed at the fact that Peter Parker wasn't a doctor. And so he went as Peter Parker and got his doctorate so that he could be Dr. Peter Parker. So I dropped out of Spider-Man halfway through the next run with that weird caterpillar villain. Is Peter the guy he was like a centipede, had centipedes all over him or something?
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, not caterpillar. Is Peter Parker still a doctor? Is that a thing or no?
Did he end up losing? I know he lost basically everything that Otto gave him after that. But is he still a doctor? I doubt it, because then he'd be doctoring. And he's not doctoring.
I don't think he's a general practitioner, but
more of a podiatrist now. And that's 7 pineapples for me. Moving on to Spider-Gwen Shadow Clones. This is a sequel to, I cannot remember, but it's another Spider-Gwen mini-series that came out recently where Spider-Gwen has all of a sudden coming face-to-face with clones of herself, and each issue is revealing a brand new hero that is a Gwen from another dimension. So in this one, pretty much the same thing, but in this time they're villains. Such a cash grab. It's okay to read digitally, you're not paying for it necessarily. Well, you are, Marvel Unlimited monthly subscription, but you're not spending the $7, $8 for each issue, which I probably wouldn't recommend doing that. Will I buy an omnibus when that's in it? You bet your ass. But it's really not that great. It's okay. It's about 5 pineapples for me. Any questions, qualms before I go on to this one?
I would never bet my ass, because if I lost, what would I sit on? Moving on.
This is X-Men Origins Blue, Nightcrawler. Has anybody read this fantastic one-shot?
No, sir.
Okay.
Nope.
This is the reason why I read this personally is because I am so behind on X-Men, and I'm not talking about our previous conversations. I mean, there was a time where I was up to current X-Men, but Krakoa age, there's just too much. I'm out of it. So on Marvel Unlimited, I see this one shot, and in the blurb, it is, you think you know the origin of Nightcrawler and Mystique? Well, you're wrong. This is the one that tells you all about that. And I went, oh, cool, I can read that. And I did, and it was great. It was a really, really cool one shot. I highly recommend that you do it because it has touching moments like this.
Literally.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
8 out of 10 pineapples for me on that one. Next, we have the Ghost Rider by Benjamin Percy. Everybody has been telling me how great and an awesome this series is, so I was dying to read it for ages. There's about 20 issues or so, maybe more, and I've been reading them on Marvel Unlimited, and I'm up to about issue 12. It's good. It's very, very good. But I don't know where people are getting great from. I mean, it's enjoyable. Yeah, it's a good read, but I think I think people have sold it to me too high. Either way, I'm going to go with 7.5 pineapples for Ghost Rider. Next, sorry, I keep going next and realizing I'm not waiting for your comments, if any. So if there is, just tell me to shut up, all right? Just tell me to shut up anyway. Okay, moving on.
Shut up.
Oh. We then have the current run of Daredevil by Ahmed Zamarin, Ahmed AS, and it's still all right. I hope it gets better. I'm sure it will because I do like that guy's writing.
Do you mean Saladin Ahmed?
Yeah, why did I mix up his last name and his first name? What kind of dyslexic thing did I just go through? I don't know what happened there, but yes, that guy. It's an okay run. It's only 5 issues in, so I'm just hoping it gets better. The one thing I am digging about it is that Matt Murdock is a priest now. So it does have a different thing. Okay, next we have the current.
It sounds like a natural progression for Matt to go in that direction.
Well,
because they've tied him down with Catholicism so much. That word.
That is, and I've got to tell you, man, like Catholicism has always been.
Yes.
Religion has always been a part of Daredevil. However, in Ahmed Salada's run, religion is very, very, very big in DD. So if you're one of these people that like don't want to hear someone go on about God and go on about Catholicism, then it's probably not the run for you. But remember, it's comics, you know. Shut up and get into it anyway. Next is Uncanny Avengers, the current run. I believe I mentioned this one last time, but I haven't finished it yet. I've still got one more issue. This is a solid run. I really, really dig it. I know everybody in this except that spiky girl. I think her name is what, Spedsy? Monet?
I was literally going to say, who is that? But judging by the costume, Monet seems to go, but I'm not familiar with her spiky redness persona.
I'm pretty sure that's Monet. Yeah, I don't really know her, but she seems cool.
One of the Generation X characters, what was that comic book years ago? Generation Next or Generation X, where they had Chamber and stuff like that. There was a red girl like that had that feral, spiky appearance.
I do know that when the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, it's a Monet.
That's yeah. Pickles. Righto.
Uncanny Avengers, 8 pineapples. Next is Daredevil and Echo, the mini-series. This was okay. I wanted it to be better, but it wasn't. 7 pineapples. Next, we have the new Secret Wars that just came out. This is a tale that is set in the original Secret Wars, but there is an adventure that Spider-Man goes on that nobody knows about. And what is cool about that is that it actually starts from an actual panel of the original Secret Wars, which is a throwaway panel. No one would remember it, but they show it to you in the beginning of the comic, and it just continues from that panel. He has an adventure, and it ends with him going back into the story. And I got to admit, it's not bad. I mean, it's a bit of a cash grab too, but it's enjoyable. It's pretty cool, especially Spider-Man, because he's never had that costume. He's had it for like 5 minutes, and he has no idea what's going on with his alien friend. I'm giving that one 8 pineapples out of 11 pineapples.
Wonder whether Marvel will include that into the probably volume 2 of Secret Wars Battle World.
Nope.
Seeing how this is so new.
No, oh, hang on. Are you talking about the reprint of a Secret Wars 2 omnibus or the Battle World one?
No, Secret Wars 2015-2016 16.
No, I don't think they will.
will.
I don't think they will. I don't think they would have done it for either. So I don't know why I'm asking which one you meant. I just realised. Cool. Then we also have Predator versus Wolverine. This has been pretty good. I got to admit, I'm really digging this one. Each issue is a different part of Wolverine's life, and it goes in linear.
I like that. So it's 3 different predators or something. The predator attacks at different times in his life.
You're correct about everything, except it's not different predator. It is the same predator who's really pissed off that Wolverine and him keep fighting each other. So, like at one point, he brings a few predators with him, and they just all get murdered, as well as Wolverine's team at the time. But like it starts off when like Wolverine's young, and he fights a predator who's got the bone claws. Then it goes into the next issue where like he's got no memory and he can't remember the predator, but the predator remembers him. Then it goes into another one where he's like the most feral Wolverine. And
the one with the no nose.
The one with the no nose. Oh, it's pretty good, man. It's pretty good. I've actually got one more issue left. So that's the only reason why I'm not giving it a 10 out of 10 pineapples. I'm giving it a 9 just in case it doesn't stick the landing. I've got 2 left. This one, I'm going to break a guy's heart. His name is Leigh from Whack Comics. This is his favorite comic of all time. He has all the hardcovers, the library editions, and the trade paperbacks. And I bought most of the library editions, and they've been on my shelf for a very long time. And I said, I'm going to read these finally. And that is Black Hammer by Jeff Lemire. Now, has anybody read Black Hammer?
Can't touch this, no.
Okay.
Well, I've got the crossover with Justice League and
Have you read that one?
Yeah.
Not that good? Because I've got that too. I haven't read that yet. Yeah, right. So so my issue with Black Hammer is, and don't get me wrong, there are a lot of people that love Black Hammer, and I get it. I do get it. The first 2 library editions, I really dug. It really got me in there, and I was really enjoying it. The problem is that they then had an offshoot called The World of Black Hammer, which was a different series that went for like another 5 books. And they were like mini series in between the main series. And a couple of them were good, but a couple of them were really not. They were just so boring to me. I'm not going to specify which ones. Anyone wants to know, ask me, and I might. I'll tell you. I don't know why I said might. I will. And by the time I got to the 3rd of the normal, I read half of it. And I just gave up, man. I said to myself, life is too short to be reading books that you're not dying to continue reading. And that's what I felt with this one. So I've got them all in a pile now to sell. And that cleared up a whole cube on my shelf with all those library books. The problem with it is that it is a complete, and I shouldn't say copy, because Jeff Lemire has obviously done it on purpose. So he hasn't copied. But like, there's a Wonder Woman, there's a Martian Manhunter, there's a Superman, there's a But when you've seen the Squadron Supreme, you've seen I've gone blank on what the Superman evil team are. You've seen the boys. When you have all of these copies out there, and it's kind of been done to death by now, that by the time I got to Black Hammer, unless it's absolutely freaking awesome, I was it's kind of done, man. And last but not least is
then I've got a question now. Then would you still be interested in reading The End League by Remender? Because it's more of that.
So The End League I will read because it is one book, and Remender is better than Lemire.
Oh. It's on record now, unless we edit this out.
That's right. And Leigh, not you, Chalker, the other Leigh, I really hope you're watching this, because all I got to say, mate, is sorry. And this is the start of my physical books that I've started reading. Oh, well, I finished these 3, but next video is going to be a lot of physical books. And that is Brubaker's The Fade Outs. I read all of this in one day, and I loved it. It It was absolutely fantastic. It kills me that all of Brubaker's books aren't TV shows or movies, because they would all make absolutely freaking wonderful, wonderful movies or TV shows. If you're into crime and you don't want anything to do with superheroes, just like stuff that could happen outside your window, go read his stuff, man. It is absolutely fantastic. It is so good. And that's all I've got. 10 out of 10 pineapples. Black Hammer, 3 out of. Oh, I forgot one. Oh my God, the best thing I've read all month, ladies and gentlemen. How could I left this one till last and then I forgot about it. The best one I've read all month. This is 11 out of 10 pineapples. How does that make sense? And that is Peter Wilson's Foes. I got this sent to me digitally, and I am waiting to get my foil cover of this. And it was fantastic, man, because, you know, as much as I love Peter Wilson, and I know you don't really watch our shows, so I don't know why I'm saying such nice things about you, bro, but as much as I do like you, man, you know, you back people for their Kickstarters sometimes because you want to support them, and you're like, oh, yeah, robot, demon fighting over a donut, ha, 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 that sounds really funny, and I'm sure it will be funny, Mr. Peter Wilson, sir, but I'm just going to get it really more just to support you, to make your dreams come true. And if you're ever famous one day, I can probably sell that on eBay and make a lot of money. However, it came into my hands and I read it, and man, I don't know how this guy made a story that's so enjoyable to read with such an easy premise. And I couldn't put it down. I was just going through every single, I was going to say page, but it was digital. So I was going through every single flick until I was done. Very well thought out, great art. All the little things inside the book is very, very good. If you did not back that Kickstarter, go find a copy, guys, because it's a one-shot. He's going to be doing more, but you don't need those. You will later. But you don't need them yet. It doesn't continue. You can just read this one. Go pick up Peter Wilson's Foes. Now we're going to go to Pineapple Head himself.
Good evening. Righto. So I've been a little slack on the reading myself in the last month, but I have managed to read. I've been drawing and doing all those other sorts of things. So I will give you my usual eclectic taste of books. So randomly decided, you know, was having a pretty average day one day and thought what would cheer me up apart from a pineapple hat. I decided I'd go and spend $20 on a comic book. So I randomly went into the shop, went across all of the bookshelves and everything, and I came across this, which I'd never heard of. It's called Geiger. So didn't know much about it, actually knew nothing about it. I actually thought, being the dilbert that I am, I thought it was a comic book on H.R. Geiger, the actual artist. I thought that's really cool, and got it home, and it's all about this radioactive fellow that gets his superpowers from varying reasons, obviously, but one of those is from a nuclear bomb that happens to just work its magic with some other medication that he's been on. And while I was sitting here in this new universe with this new character, I was thinking to myself, I'm feeling a little bit snoozy because I feel like I've been down this road before. And then on about the 24th page, it suddenly turned into he's got this cool two-headed dog, and, you know, like, he's this really gnarly fellow. Like, I don't know. I just ended up really enjoying it. So I got into the zone of it. The artwork by Gary Frank is beautiful. Really clear, clean lines. Actually a really good comic book. So I do hope I get to read more of that, and I would recommend picking that up. That's a pretty good bargain, actually. It was like $20 or something. So, you know, $20 ain't bad. So there you go, Geiger.
If you don't know, there's a sequel coming out, or has come out.
Oh, very good. I'll hunt that down, Sharif, because I did like it. It was one of, you know, that sometimes you're a bit, and then it clicked into a gear, and I would recommend anyone reading it. How many pineapples? Look, I like pineapples. you know, and I'm not really sure how many I want to give away because, you know, we're talking about nuclear fallout here. So pineapples might be the currency at the moment. So I'm going to go with 6 out of 10 pineapples. All right. So I'm feeling it like a hard task, you know, gauge it tonight, you know. Now, I can obviously be a little, you know, sometimes I see things and I can be a bit of a dill sometimes, and I see snippets of things, and things just don't attract me. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the law of attraction is not there for a particular character. So I was at work, and I was talking to a young fellow there about this particular comic book, and I'm not sure. It didn't make sense to me. It just seemed crazy, and I'm not sure if I wanted to read it. So he went out and bought the first issue of it for me, and with that, I was very grateful for, and I decided that it was a must that I had to read. It's not something I would have bought myself, but it is Chainsaw Man, and I have to say, Chainsaw Man is actually a solid read. I enjoyed it. It's not what I thought it was going to be. There's a little bit more to it than just some dude with a head that's a chainsaw and limbs that are chainsaws. The artwork was sweet, you know. What's really weird is that the young fella I was working with knew I'd like it because of the violence in the comic book. I've said this to you guys before. What is it with people that think I like ultra violence? In comics, it's cool, but in real life, no, it's all about love and shit, man. So, you know, but good read. So
for me,
man.
I think personally, Lee, for me, the reason why I think you like violence is because every time you punch me in the face, you laugh and giggle. So I'm assuming that's why, because why else would you do it, you sadistic bastard?
Well, you know, because I don't want to give too many pineapples away is why I do it, Bo. So I'll give that one a 6 as well. And, you know, I've already discussed with you I was defensive about pineapples this evening. But, you know, I mean, you know, we're talking comics, so you got to punch someone, you know. And, you know, sometimes you're just me. I'd punch myself, but I don't know, that would look a bit weird. So on another note, moving on to this, let's go with Pickles. If anyone's never watched Chinwag, Pickles is a safe word in case something's, you know, like running out of steam. So let's pick that steam up by turning onto this giant book of commando war stories that I randomly found at work and started reading. And I'm a black and white fan. It's not in great nick, so don't judge me, all right? But it's not in great nick, but it's a beautiful thing. I grew up with Commando, and I grew up with the, I can't remember the name of the Western one, the cowboy one, but, you know, as a black and white fan and, like, just enjoys those sorts of things, man, they're cool as. They're one of the rare comic books you can still get at a newsagent. So, you know, they've been going forever and a day. And don't fall asleep while reading that, as I did the other day, because it hurts. And if you're wearing glasses, it can press the glasses against your forehead, and you could possibly do yourself an injury. Or
is that why you're wearing a hat?
No, I'm just wearing a hat because, look, I just felt like wearing a hat, Bo. There's really no other reason than that. It was here. I have a head. It felt like they needed to come together, man, you know. So, you know, oh man, for that one, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm going to go 6. All right, I'm going 6 all night. But this one can take all of my pineapples because this one is rare, and I had the opportunity on Chinwag, which you can view on AussieVerse, to interview Mr. Rob O'Connor, who's an Australian independent comic artist that does Death Ship Jenny. And in our conversations, we were talking about how he wanted to learn how to write a comic book. So he made his own. And what he did is over the course of 2 years, every week he would do a cartoon script, and it would change, like just little moments of his life and stuff. So, you know, like just there's some lovely stuff going on. This book I was lucky enough to get is called Lisle. Now that is a very nice comic book. As you can see, there are little tales about his life, little moments. So it took him 2 years to put this together and learn the art of comic book writing and layouts and things. So they're all a little bit different. It's you can see the man putting things together. There's stories about conversations with him and his wife, shooting the breeze, moments where he's had, I guess, epiphanies while shopping, things like that. It's just him learning how to do comic books, and I reckon that's magic. So I'm actually going to give that 11 out of 10 pineapples. Don't ask me where the 11th pineapple's coming, but I do like to support Australian comic book creators, and Rob is one of those, and that's well worth checking out. Now, my last random, because I always like to give a novel when I'm doing these shows. So I was talking to my sister one day, and there's a story here, and I'll be as quick as I can be. And I had to go to Kmart one day because my dog Lloyd likes cat toys. I don't understand why. It's just his thing. All right, like these stand-up cat toys that shoot this red dot, and he chases them around, and he loves it, and he gets sooky, and it's like a drug for him. He wakes up in the morning, he looks up at this thing, but he has a problem that after a week or two, he loves it so much he breaks them, and I've got to keep going back to Kmart. So I'm trying to get him off the drug, man, so I haven't bought him one for a few weeks, so he's a bit scattered. So I'm talking to my sister a couple of weeks ago, and I'm at Kmart. And we randomly come up. She goes, "Oh, like da-da-da, this has been happening. Oh, green lights." And I'm like, "Green lights? That's weird. That's like the name of that Matthew McConaughey autobiography, isn't it?" She's like, "Yeah, I just read it. You should read it." And I'm like, I don't know about that. She's like, "No, read it. You need to read it." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll read it." So I'm standing there about to grab Lloyd's cat toy. And on the shelf, someone's just thrown next to it is Matthew McConaughey's Green Lights. Sometimes the universe just it's meant to be. So I picked up Matthew McConaughey's Green Lights. Now,
I heard it's all right.
Dude, I was happy, and I read it in about 2 days flat. It is one of the coolest autobiographies I have ever read. That dude is so cool, man. He's got a wild look on life, one that I think is pretty cool. Lots of things in that. And green lights are the little things that you go for, like if you see an opening, you just have a tack at it, and he got to where he is by this weird little idea that he had when he was younger, that he was gonna, take green lights his whole way through his life. So it's just his journey, and it's well worth checking out. And I would recommend that. I'd actually give that 9 pineapples. I liked it so much. So that was just a strange little comeuppance. So that's me for the month. There you go. Night.
And that's all we have time for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
You guys.
Creators, comic book artists, comic book illustrators, you want to know where to go to buy anything about Australian comics books, and you go to Comx. Because what's the best thing about Comx? They bring Australian creators together, and not only that, they have one flat shipping rate. 10 comics, it doesn't matter. They don't care. They will ship it at one price. Comx, ladies and gentlemen, go find out.
Yeah, that wasn't a bad episode.
I love
yeah,
this.
what did you guys think? Thought it went pretty good. Yeah. Oh, well, we did forget to do my thing though, but I guess we'll just do it next week. But yeah, that was good. Good. You guys did great.
Yeah, 10 pineapples.
Yeah. Spedsy,
Yeah, mate.
we're still on.
Well, so as I was gonna say, you guys, I liked how you guys sort of settled in and took your time. I tend to do these things at a million miles an hour because I'm scared of losing people's attention. So I'm going to try and take leaves out of the several books you guys showed. Why your books are full of leaves, I don't know. But so when it comes to these things, I'm a bit of a shim-sham man. We know that. When we do the reading thing, I have traditionally not read that much in that time, so I fake it. When we do the hauls, I haven't bought that much, so I fake it. I show stuff I've had for a while. I have the attention span of a mosquito's dingleberry. I have found reading to be quite challenging the last couple of years since I am a comic book creator myself, and since my writing increased, my reading decreased, which is not necessarily good. It's just I would find myself a little too many stories in my head at the end of the day when it was time to read, and I would happily scroll the internets instead. But I actually did read something last night and the night before. Weirdly, oddly proud of myself. I feel like I can get back in the groove of reading comics every night. Now, this is something that you guys know very well. It was recommended by Leigh, not to me, but to just the world, and I took note. But as I lamented to Beau several times, and will continue to lament, omnibuses are not for me. They suck. That's for a later episode. But omnibuses, they're just not practical. They're just monstrous. It's a huge money commitment. You can't lie down and read them. So there was a manga long, I thought, out of print in the little single issue. I don't know if you call them single issues. I only sold them in a comic shop for 11 years and never thought to learn what they're called. But I've only seen this in big, chunky hardcovers. I always like to look when I'm in a bookshop or whatever, and I finally delved into the world of Berserk. This is the first. So I did buy Lone Wolf and Cub a couple of months back. You might recall on a haul video, and I read the first chapter or something, and I really enjoyed it. But just that mosquito's dingleberry attention span, I didn't keep going. But it's on my must continue list. But I picked this up, and we used to sell these for $12, $15. Inflation's a real thing. This was $25, which I was astounded at. And there's nothing like the guilt of the money you spent to drive you to actually read the thing that you spent the $25 on. So I smashed this in 2 sittings. Most people I could have easily. I wanted to savor it, but at the same time, I couldn't put it down. I loved it. As my first trip into manga, I knew that you read it back to front. I didn't realize till 3 or 4 pages in that it's not only is it you're reading back to front, but you also got to read right to left instead of left to right. That took it was a few pages of going what the to realize I'm reading on the wrong, not only the wrong side of the page but the wrong side of the panel. So yeah, it's a learning curve. Now, what did I'm going deep on this because it was a bit of an experience for me in many ways. There was some sexiness in the first couple of pages.
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
I'm a man who loves some fine literature, but I'm also a bit of a horny son of a gun. So when this book established that there was some sexy times to be had, I was ready for more sexy times. And unfortunately, that first scene was the only sexiness to be had. So I had to find that sexiness elsewhere. Lots of thoughts. The use of speech bubbles, obviously, where the Japanese writing was, now is English. So I kind of admired that haphazardness of having to squeeze the font in some cases, massive balloons with tiny fonts in the middle. This is just, I guess as a comic creator, just things that I noticed that maybe other people would glide past. there's an artwork change here and there where I believe it's still the same artist, but it goes from solid blacks and hard lines to there'll be a few pages here and there where it's like a shaded, almost like charcoaly drawn sort of stuff. I don't know if this is where the first sort of guy with a big sword thing came from, but I loved Dude with a Big Sword. If you have read Old Man Biscuit, I knew I wasn't originating Small Man Big Sword. It was definitely, I knew I was stealing an anime thing, but now I know where I was stealing it from. In future issues of Vamoose, I had plans for Old Man Biscuit, Small Man, Big Sword. He would have a small chicken on his shoulder. Guts here has this small little fairy Tinkerbell type thing that follows him around. So Old Man Biscuit is a legit ripoff of Berserk, and I didn't even know. Thoroughly enjoyed this at $25 a pop. I intend to keep going, but it might be sort of, I might pick up one a month sort of thing and try and make it last a little bit longer. But I had a really good time with this. So that's what I read. Now, I'm a Shimsham man, as we know, about these things. So this has become a Spedsy haul video for the rest of this because me and the boy down with the pineapple hat. Oh, wait, first. 9 out of 10 capsicums. No, yeah, look, I do things my own way, mate. That's why they love me and hate me. So
duality.
Yeah, so me and the Pineapple Man, we have been talking about dusting the dust off a property of ours called Ring Around the Rosie, and that meant I had to go digging into. So of all my comic boxes that are all hidden away, these ones over here are my comic books that I made, created, illustrated, took part in, contributed to, etc. There was a big clustery F of stuff in the way. I said to Leigh, I've got to see how many copies of Rosie, blah, blah, blah. What those boxes contained was a guy who went to quite a few conventions last year selling lots of books, but also buying lots of books. And when you're at a convention with your own comics, buying comics, you tend to just grab them, chuck them in the box. I'll deal with it later. So I had like 5 boxes of deal with it later, to which I then found a whole bunch of Australian comics that I hadn't dug out yet. For the next haul video, I'll show you just behind Wolverine here. There's a pile of zines, which I bought, but I already put those away. And you're not seeing my pajama pants while I walk over there and get them. So I'll just show you this little pile here. Kongitan versus Kraken. So this, I'm not, well, obviously that's Wolfgang Bilsma. Not familiar with the top guy, but that's Gary Proudley. Gary Proudley wrote this. I am a huge fan of Gary Proudley as a writer, but also as a dude. He's a been there, done that guy. He is the right-hand man to Tom Taylor. And Gary was so effing nice to me over the few conventions where we saw each other. We sat down one night, spoke for hours on end, gave me advice of all kinds of things. But that's beside the point. Here he puts on a masterclass of comic creating. He's a 2-time Ledger shortlisted guy just in the previous Ledgers. I'm sure he's been shortlisted previous to that. He's a very, some of his books are think pieces and sort of autobiographical tales here and there. This one, I believe, is grab a bucket of popcorn. Here's 2 big monsters who are going to slam into each other, and not make a couple of smaller monsters, but have a roustabout. This I found amongst it. So this is Pizza Man, Damien Shanahan. I can't remember Shanahan. So I don't know how this ended up in that box. When I moved into this room, I must have just grabbed a whole bunch of stuff that I hadn't put away properly. Pizza Man 1. Lots of people own Pizza Man 1 because it's, I think, the highest, the most printed, highest amount printed something of an Australian comic ever, because it was in show bags for the Royal Melbourne show, Australia show. I don't know.
I thought you were going to say because it was the homage to that famous Spider-Man cover as well. There's a Pizza Man where he's eating a slice of pizza.
It is.
And the cheese, like the webs.
All right.
Spider-Man 300. No, not 300.
These are my pants. Just deal with it.
What was the number?
Look at the pants. I swear it's right here. I just saw it before. There's my shit show. Oh, come on, man. Where is it? Yeah. Hope you enjoyed the view. There you go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, get in. Sorry for pronouncing your name wrong there. I'm sure it's Damien Shanahan, but let's just call him Shamalama Ding Dong because I'm not sure. So, yeah, Pizza Man. Get your face around it. Now, this one, when trying to grab, I still haven't done it first, trying to reorganize my Australian section, which is these shelves here. And look, I'm going to have to admit something here. Where are they? Somewhere here I had what I call junk boxes. Now, in the junk box was just stuff that I didn't really know where this goes. And sort of putting the Iron Mans with the Iron Mans, the Avengers with the whatnots. So as a younger man, I just got a bunch of catalogs and all this sort of stuff. I didn't want to chuck it out. I just chucked it in the junk box. So on a later show, what I want to do is do Spedsy Goes Through the Junk Box, because in a quick sort of, what is this? And I just look quickly, the second comic I pulled out of this junk box was something that I didn't even realize at the time. And that's this guy here, Will Eisner's John Law Detective. Now, you might recognize this name down the bottom, Gary Challoner. So as the wheels turn, mate, look, there was a time when Nirvana was on the Jonathan Ross show in America. I was a 16-year-old lad, and I'm watching this weird British guy. Welcome to the stage. That's not how they talk, but let's just go with it. Welcome to the stage, Nirvana. And I was like, who's that dork? And then watched Nirvana absolutely trash the set and was like, yeah, for rock and roll. Years later, I would go on to really appreciate Jonathan Ross and watch some of his podcasts and all that. And I was like, what a weird world this is, where Nirvana's not really in my lexicon anymore, but Jonathan Ross is. And it was the flip of when I was younger. So the junk box is the gold box. Found some gold in the junk box. There you go. This next one, Kulan. I've been calling her Crandall. My Simpsons references, I lose one every day as I get older. And it's a damn shame. My library was deep. Now it is shallow. But Kulan is Katie Hollywood's, Katie Houghton Ward's creator-owned title, by fresh from the Gestalt Factory of Awesomeness.
What a cover.
I believe she is working on issue 2, but this is from quite a few years ago now, I believe, before she got swept up in the dark heart of it all and whatnot. Lucky enough to meet Katie in the flesh after quite a few fun times on Drink and Draw. Right on the Comx network tomorrow night, we're doing sitcom characters. Tune in, so look, worth a look. Gary Proudly, I'm doing him proudly with another one from him. It's Talgard Tome 2. Look, I picked this up for 2 reasons. Gary Proudly and Lauren Marshall. Lauren Marshall, outside of Lana Luca, doing some sequential art. But it is a who's who of Australian comic books. Of course, my name's not on there, so it's not a completely... it's decent. I'll give it quite a few capsicums, mate. From Dean Rankin, I picked up his death metal elves of it's right up the top, which is silly. But he chucked in this for free. Oggy and the Cockroaches. And there's his signature sketch he did on the spot. That'd take me about half an hour. Beautiful stuff. Worth a look. Several capsicums. This guy, another person who I had met in virtual life, I got to meet in real life. I had dinner with him and his wife. It was quite delightful, and got to pick up this preview issue of number 8 with all little bits and pieces. His amazing piece that he did in the Comx calendar, which plays a part in the origin story of a lot of this community and whatnot. Just fresh off a successful Kickstarter. You can still grab copies, I believe. Now, this one's pretty special. This is called Emily Lewis. This is by Travis Richardson, a.k.a. Trav Dog. Now, Trav is a dude who, self-proclaimed shell dweller, and recently has been working to come out of said shell. And Comx and Comx and Drink and Draw and just the whole scene in general has played a part in that. And I was lucky enough to share a booth with Nick Quick Cleary, who he and Trav Dog are quite close. And so I got to meet Trav in person, got to pick up his comic. I think we swapped books on the day. I got to meet, I think, his sister, who was very nice. So you can find, I'm not sure, I think you can get these at comx.shop. He has talked about that. But yeah, check out Trav Dog. I think that's 4 out of 5 zucchinis on that one. This one we have Sky's Cabin Library coloring book. Now, I actually put this thing together. I didn't do all the artwork, but I did all the graphic design and all that sort of nonsense. Some of my art's in here. But it's a fun little thing for the kids. You can often get these, I think, for free with some purchases of Sky's Cabin Library stuff. Or I think they go for a couple of shekels. But yeah, I got to get one in person when tabling next to Peter Lane of Sky's Cabin Library fame. So grab yourself one. That's I think that's 3 grapes out of a bushel. That's a piece of cardboard that I had in the pile for some reason. Dark Heart number 2. This is more Katie Houghton Ward good times, plus the man Scott Wilson in the Indigiverse. Read issue 1, loved it. Here is issue 2, still in its plastic. So I haven't read this yet, but it's on the to-do list. Another man I got to meet in person in Adelaide, Lucas Scheffel, I want to say his name. He of the Angry Squad. It's based on his dad, and this guy gets up to all kinds of, it's like an exaggerated version of his dad. There's a gorilla in it, and they get up to no good. Next, I think this one I grabbed from the Comx shop. Yes, I did, because there's the little thing, and it was in a thing with this thing. So I grabbed Ryan Vella's Dead Stuff. I have read this one, and I loved the hell out of it. So good that all these little strips of his got to find a home. And yeah, so proud to have a piece of Ryan Vella history in my collection. That's 12 strawberries out of 4 handfuls of other fruits that I can't think of. Billy Bones and the Apocalypse. This is DK, Dana King. Got to meet her. Very nice lady. Got to meet her mum. Another nice lady. Makes great comics. Absolutely might be one of the hardest working illustrators in Australia. You should see her booth. Absolutely covered in T-shirts, guitars, artwork of all shapes and sizes. She gets 12 salt and vinegar chips in a very small packet. This is a random thing I picked up from King's Comics. Have not read it yet, but I just Googled the names Dave DeVries and Glenn Lubston, see what they had in the world, and picked this up. I have no idea what it's about. I'm sure there's a truck in it. I give it 3 out of 4. Morgan Quaid. Now, he's a prolific son of a bee. Look, I've not met his parents. I'm sure they're delightful. I shouldn't have said that. So, Shadow's Daughter. Have not read it. Am going to. Morgan Quaid makes good stuff. So, get your face in or around it. Last, but not... Oh, wait, did I say how many carrots this was? More than a bunny could chew. All right. Torn, issue 20. Where's issue 4? And issue 9? And issue 12? Well, who knows? But the mad genius known as Gary Della, in 40 years, you're going to see them all lined up and go, son of a bee, he did it. I have met his parents and they are bees. No, I've not. They're literal bees. They stung me when I was trying to steal their honey. This is from my boy, Hayden Spurrell. Can't wait to dive into this one. I believe it's a one-shot. Yeah, so I'm a sucker for the Torn universe. Love playing in it. Love reading it. And that is a dinosaur egg found in the sap of a tree. I give it 4 out of 10 saps. All right. That's all. Now, look, in the sap community, 4 out of 10 saps. My ranking system is abhorrent. My wanking system
all over the place
is amazing. All right, well, that's all I got for you. Back to before we sign off, or I sign off, got to leave you one of these. Yeah, g'day.
Well, I don't know if everybody was into that, but Spedsy, thank you so much. No, I'm just saying, Spedsy, thank you so much for sharing that, because I was really into it. I loved all that books, because a lot of them I do know, but there's a lot that I didn't as well. So that was really cool for you to share all that with us, man, because now it gives me some stuff to pause and Google and look up. Yeah, man. Yeah, that was really cool.
I can't tell if you're being for real or not.
I am. I think the way I worded it at the start was, I probably could have chosen a better way to deliver that. I admit, because it sounded like I didn't care for it, but that was not my intention whatsoever.
I'm worried that didn't take me half an hour, did it?
Oh, it took you about 45 minutes.
Oh, that's all right. I feel like you guys and I enjoyed it. It took a while.
Man, I as like yourself, as an Australian creator, I am all for. I will sit through hours of looking and promoting Australian comic book creators stuff. Man, it's one of the best things I like. The things that I enjoy the most. So
let's let the world decide, ladies and gentlemen. Were you into it or were you not into it?
Yeah.
Please tell us in the
thumbs
comments.
Down.
If you were, tell us how many pineapples.
If you were into it, please let us know. And if you weren't, keep it to yourself. And have we got anything else that we want to say?
Thought of the week, mate. Yeah, look, got a couple of them. No, I don't know.
I got a thought of the week, if you want one. Expectations.
And now it's time for the AussieVerse Thought of the Week.
Expectations are resentments under construction. There you
go. Oh, man. What Rob has just did just reinforced the thought of always be open to new things. Yeah.
Look, mate, I don't want to pretend I'm a poet over here, but every now and again I come up with a doozy. And look, over time you realise you look across and you see that guy kissing that girl, you see that girl kissing that girl, you see that guy kissing that guy. Everyone's just kissing. and they're doing it a lot, right? And they're doing it like they're showing it. And you look on your Facebooks and your Twitters and your whatnot, and they're very like in your face about the prettiness of their soulmate and how deep their love goes and all this stuff. And then inevitably comes the post, we broke up, we've moved on, we divorced. And, it saw me delving into my poetic brain, and I came up with this little chestnut. He who loves loudest loves least. Take that home.
My thought of the week is going to be simply this one. No, not that one. I'm going to try.
It's me again. Yeah, look, mate.
I'm not doing this right. Hang on. There we go.
Just remove everybody.
My thought of the week is this. Ladies and gentlemen, who's going to win in the upcoming battles between Spedsy and OmniBeau? You're going to have to tune in next week when we go toe-to-toe, fist-to-fist, head-to-head, where we battle it out not on stage, live for the world to see, where we pick a topic and we fight about it. The first one is going to be omnibus related. It is going to be a hot take, and mate, I'm telling you, I'm pumped for it. Who do you like more, Spedsy or me? Who do you agree with more, me or
It's got nothing to do with like, because we both
know
know I would win.
people like more, and it's going to be you versus me.
Do I get to get a word in, or what's this?
I've got to talk here, and if people vote anything for Spedsy, then I'm removing you from YouTube, because if you like this sort of content, well, this is what you're up for, guys and gals and everyone else in between.
Well, look, the one who has the one with the smallest point often yells the most. Look, I'm a poet, and I didn't even realize I was one. I tried to crack my knuckles, and I hurt my fingers. I've never been able to crack anything willingly except a case. The case of omnibuses being shit. They're impractical. I will rant longer when the time comes. But until then, we will be face to face, fist to fist, ass to ass, whatever it takes. We will make it. Get your ass on the grass. Get your friends down to ringside, because it's going down at the Cow Palace. Look, let's be real. Beau doesn't have a leg to stand on. He has two. I also have two. Two men standing, each end of an octagon. How many sides is that? Only two, because it's two men. Anytime you want to press the button, sounds like a good time.
Whoa, that's the wrong button.
Look, it's me again. And that's what the world wants.
Sharif, please, can we end the show? What is AussieVerse? That's great. See you later, guys.
3 out of 10 snaps.